Hello, everybody. We're back again, as normal, like normal. I'm Aaron.
I'm Drew.
This is our second try. My phone wasn't muted the first time, so
She kept it in for the hot takes.
maybe one day we'll do a blooper reel. So this week we're back talking about Dominaria. Last week or last release, we were talking about our Masters 25 recap and a little bit of Dominaria. I heard some spoilers came out a little earlier, so we talked about the mechanics and how that might affect the cube experience as a whole. And we kind of brushed up on three of the planeswalkers that were spoiled, not including Chandra, the intro deck planeswalker. So this week we're going to talk a little more in depth about it, but anything. We're talking about it, and like normal,
I'm on board.
like normal, I'd like to thank the Mana Base, which is the content provider that lets us bring these fantastic episodes to you at least once a month. So, check out the Mana Base.
My standards might be slipping.
Your home base for everything Magic the Gathering, except for Vintage. Standards might be slipping, but that's Cubism. That's us. So, Dominaria. Kamigawa 2? Or Legends 2? People have been saying it's probably closer to Legends, because it's not as bad.
I think it's closer to Legends because it's a little more vanilla. I don't know. Like, it's either it's legendary and it does something, or it's not legendary and it does something else.
Alright, yeah, I'll take it. So, Dominaria has, a couple of mechanics in the set. There's obviously a huge legendary theme. There's the Legendary Matters cards, which are the legendary spells. So there's big over-the-top spells that require you to have a legendary creature or planeswalker. So you can't cheat it with a Volar Stronghold. It has to be a creature or planeswalker, as well as what is it? Oh yeah, I was going to say artifacts, but artifact is not correct. It's historic. The historic cards that count artifacts, enchantments, and legendary cards as historic, as I'm going to double check my notes. My notes being one of the cards we're going to talk about. Artifacts, legends, and sagas are historic. Enchantment was not correct. Yeah. So, cards the cards that refer to historic cards are artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. I guess saga was enchantment. That's why I mixed them up.
Yeah, well, it was kind of there's epic spells in Kamigawa, yeah. I believe.
Yeah, so I guess other than that, we got Return to Kicker. I'm probably forgetting something else. That's not the point. We're talking about cards, and I guess we're going to start off in alphabetical order. That's it. So that starts off with Cast Down. This card's good. It's 1 and a black. Instant, destroy target non-legendary creature. That's the reverse of Hero's Demise from Kamigawa block that only destroyed legendary creatures. That card wasn't very good. So Cast Down's great.
I think, I want to try it, but it might be time to cut one of the 2 edicts that I run.
So you run Diabolic Edict and Chainer's Edict. And then you run Go for the Throat, which is the premium version of this card. And then what? Do you play any other Go for the Throat effects? So Ultimate Price, Doomblade, others I'm forgetting. Some of them might cost double Malicious Affliction.
Yes, I play Malicious Affliction because the ceiling on that one's right up here. Other than without my list in front of me, I'm going to say that's all I run currently.
So I guess if you just run the numbers, Go for the Throat is the better version. It has more targets. I don't want to say normally, but on average. So Cast Down. I think I run Ultimate Price, or I've always been running a second one. I don't run Malicious Affliction. Malicious Affliction does have the higher ceiling, obviously, but Cast Down I'll most likely replace. It's kind of the version of the card that I wanted. I was playing Never Return on top of Hero's Demise for a while. I know you also play Never Return.
Larger size.
Your cube's a little bigger, so I know.
Do you run 2 edicts?
I do. I also run both edicts. So Chainer's Edict, Diabolic Edict. I think I've had a hard time cutting either. I don't have a good reason for you off the top of my head. But those cards always feel really good. At no point do I ever feel like I want to cut them. But I've always wanted something to go with Go for the Throat. Like I ran Doomblade for ages. And now I don't run Doomblade. I'm going to run Cast Down.
Well, edicts are good in the decks that have lots of removal. But if it's your only removal spell, might as well just run something better.
Castlon also has a really cool F&M variant, which you probably haven't seen because you don't play F&M. You haven't played it in a couple of years. But it's great.
Actually great or sarcastic great?
Oh, it's actually really nice.
Okay.
They kind of changed the templating on it. I'll probably bring it up
like
somewhere.
Fatal Push nice or...
Well, Fatal Push was the same...
Brainstorm nice.
Was the same, like, card frame. This is like, they changed the card frame altogether. Oh, that's not true. They changed the layout, if that makes sense. It'll be over here. When you watch this video, you'll see it. Yeah. We talked a lot about this new Doomblade. And leads us up to another fairly boring card. Dauntless Bodyguard.
Kind of boring. It's not even rare.
You're right. It's uncommon. I think. So I guess there was a big swerve. The commons in this aren't the settler wasn't black. It's the opposite. It's white. So there's a lot of cards I thought were uncommons at first. I'm like, man, where are all the commons in the set at? Oh, these are all commons actually. All right. So Dauntless Bodyguard is next on our list of 1,000 Savannah lines you can play, and they keep getting a little better.
I think it's time to cut Dryad Militant, which I run in white instead of green.
So Dauntless Bodyguard is 1 white for a 2/1. What a surprise! Human Knight, human being very relevant. As it enters the battlefield, choose another creature you control, and then you can sacrifice Dauntless Bodyguard to make that creature indestructible until end of turn.
So I guess at this point, this is a new Savannah Alliance with an ability. Cha-cha.
Yep, there's a lot of different options. This one seems like one of the better ones as of late. So that brings us to one of the things that we always ask for.
New border?
New border. Jason would never ask for, but it's black creatures that might be cube playable.
I don't think this one is.
Demon Lord Belzenlock.
Belzenlock
is a 6-mana, 4 black 6/6 Elder Demon. It's the last of Liliana's demons.
With the other ones, Elder Demons.
Flying Trample. When it enters the battlefield, exile top cards of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Put the card in your hand. If the card costs 4 or greater, repeat this process. And then it does 1 damage to you for each card you put into your hand this way. I originally thought this card was a Spoils of the Vault. So every card you exiled, you lost life, and this card was mega terrible. No, this card's like fine. It draws you a card, it might draw you 2. I know a lot of people only play Grave Titan in this slot, and a lot of people aren't a big fan of Noxious Gear Hulk. But Noxious Gear Hulk is a card that I'm super happy with. I know you like it a lot. What a surprise, we like the same thing.
There's also Tetsamok now.
Tetsamok's been in a lot of this. But the game is good. It's really good. What a surprise. So Demon Lord Belzenok is a fine card. It's what I like about it over, I guess, Tetsamok is you can't abuse Tetsamok. And everything in black wants you to recur guys. Obviously they have all the spells to do that. And Demon Lord Belzenok does that, but again, I just like a Grave Titan, Noxious Gear Hulk.
Everything else?
Yeah, so Demon Lord is a fine card. It's fine stats, big mana, draws you a card, cantrips, card's fine.
Flies.
Yeah, there's nothing really bad to say about it. The amount of 6 drops in black you want to play are kind of... I'm not sure how many you want to play, but again, is a black creature that is playable. I'm in. So you know what? I might try them, but keep it coming. Keep it coming, Wizards. I'm in. I'm in all the time. So we talked about Jaya last time.
Older than I thought.
I really like the art. It's like the same artist who did Chandra. Ooh, it's really nice. You can really tell. Ooh, it's really mystifying. So Jay Ballard is 2 red. So 5 mana, 5 loyalty. +1. Add 3 red mana to your mana pool. Spend that mana only on instants and sorceries. +1 also. Discard up to 3 cards, draw the many cards, and then -8. You get an emblem with, you may cast instants and sorceries from your graveyard. If a card is cast this way, if a card would be cast this way and put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So it permanently pass and flames you. So we talked about it last week.
Lots of red mana, not really required. We don't need another red planeswalker.
Yeah, thankfully, in a year or two ago, not 3 years ago, when everyone was playing Koth and whatever else came out,
the Chandra flavor of the year.
Yeah, it was rough. But now we live in a world. We have Chandra Torch of Defiance. We have Chandra Flamecaller. We even have stuff we can still play Koth. You can still play the 5 mana Koth.
To play Duretti.
There's actually a lot of options in red now. It's quite great. So Jaya is a couple years ago. Maybe we were talking, but Jaya, what does it do? What does it fit in? It costs 3 red. It's good at animating Peripheros.
Yeah, red Devotion.
Its second possibility, discard up to 3 cards, draw that many cards, is very powerful. I like that red, but Wizards keeps pushing red into those discard X, draw X.
More dimensions.
Right. It gives red more play to it, which is great. This card is great art, but it's not good. It's a miss, unfortunately. But who isn't a miss? And the closer we get to release, the more hyped up I get about
KarinsanAbruzzo. You weren't very excited last time.
No, but I'm good now. It's going to be great. Its art's bad.
You're going to read it off because I did a really poor job
That's
last
fine.
time.
I'm really good at reading stuff. KarinsanAbruzzo is a 4 colorless mana.
Oh, you already screwed up a little bit there. You stuttered.
I did. 5 loyalty. Legendary Planeswalker Karn. +1. Reveal top 2 cards of your library. Your opponent chooses one of them and puts that card into your hand. Exile the other one with a silver counter on it. -1. Put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. And -2. Create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each other artifact you control. I think the one thing I hadn't really set in, because the card we were looking at wasn't really real. It was a mock-up. You don't really get it.
It was pretty similar.
And something people seem to comment a lot online is that his abilities are really cheap. So trading off the +1 -1, it always stays at the healthy loyalty of 5 or 6 at all points, and you could even go -2 -2, and it still lives after using its third ability. So beyond the art, I have very little bad things to say about this thing.
He's really blue for a silver golem.
He is. I know obviously he doesn't replace Big Daddy Karn. But
it's an alternative. It's more of one of those choices that you choose for flavorful reasons or for I want to keep X amount of really powerful planeswalkers, and then you got a bunch of niche ones that are good in certain archetypes, and then you got a bunch of filler at the bottom. So.
Yeah, I know this definitely spurred conversation of it's obviously not like a 7-mana Karn is very good. It's good in the artifact ramp decks and a lot of ramp decks, but and KarinsanAbruzzo because people seem to talk about this or that, like this one or the other one. And a lot of people seem confused, like, well, why wouldn't you just play both? But a lot of people, we live in a modern age, where there's 1,000 planeswalkers that are all cube playable.
It's called the Moto Cube.
And if you played them all, we'd, a super high percentage, every pack would have 1 or 2 of them. And, the planeswalker is the best creature type. It would just become this, mid-range slog fest really fast. So, I know I definitely try to reduce the amount. I try not to play more than 2 per color, or in this case, colorless. So, if you had to choose Ugin or Karn, 7-mana Karn, Ugin, which one are you keeping?
I think I'd try out this one for a while. Right now, if I had to
that doesn't answer my question.
Now,
choose Ugin. Who are you playing? Are you
Ugin.
Okay, good.
Ugin's the best one.
Ugin best one.
And then it's choice between these two, the two Karns.
I also choose Ugin, and I will also be trying Karn. I look forward to testing it. I know a lot of people. Your big fan White Wolf has been talking really high about it, so I look forward to trying it. Beyond it's the mocked up art was great. This art bad. I look forward to trying it.
Baneslayer.
Lyra Dawnbringer. 2/2 white. 5/5 angel. Flying first strike lifelink.
It's 3/2 white.
3/2. What did I say?
2/2 white.
Ooh, that's a lot better. 3/2 white. 5/5 flying first strike lifelink. Other angels you control got +1/+1 and lifelink.
Seems unnecessary.
Is the second line of text any way more relevant than Baneslayer's second line of text?
Yeah, it definitely is.
So
Sublime Archangel, and you got Restoration Angel, and I'm sure there's one at 3 randomly.
There's some you play, you can play Gisela, you can play Angel Invention, you can play other ones, I'm sure.
There's Linvala at 6.
Yeah. So let's say the 5 other angels.
Entreat the angels,
just in case,
that's so many.
If they weren't already mega dead, now they're 5/5s.
With lifelink.
So, the handful of angels you can play, is that worth more than having protection from Thundermaw Hellkite and Grizzlebrand?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because it's in a color slot that it'll actually encounter this angel demographic.
Yeah.
Way more often than you will accidentally come across a dragon.
Yeah, Wizards keeps pushing, Archangel, obviously. That's a good one, too. Yeah, okay. Wizards keeps pushing, the angel creature type. There's been a lot of good ones in the past 3 years. So, it seems to be, how they're kind of pushing blue sphinxes. That seems to be the white sphinx. So, Lyra Dawnbringer, I imagine will get better over time. Baneslayer Angel, that's kind of just done this.
You don't play both. Probably.
I can't imagine playing both unless you really want to go deep in angels. But I will be swapping out Lyra Dawnbringer for Baneslayer Angel. I imagine a lot of people probably make the swap. It's really easy. doesn't die to cast down. A lot of these cards don't die to cast down. Maybe we're fudging cast down's numbers. Maybe it's not good. Speaking of legends, there's a lot more on this list. Ooh, okay, Chalet? Is it a soft H? Or is it Chalet?
Did you put this one in Google Translate?
I did not.
I'd go with that.
Chalet, Swiss Chalet, Voice of Plenty.
Yeah, Swiss Chalet. Yeah.
3 and a white for a 3/4 flying angel. Your planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof, and it has another line of text: 4 green, but a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. I almost wish it didn't have this green ability, so I can just justify making it a white card.
I would put it as a white card.
Yeah,
I would too. Doesn't. I was pretty, I guess, medium positive on this card. And then I had this discussion on Reddit, and as I started talking more about it, I just hated it.
What was
more and more?
What was the someone called you a curmudgeon?
Oh yeah, I'm a big curmudgeon.
Yeah, you are.
Got it.
Drew doesn't like people having fun. He doesn't like hearing about people having fun.
This card isn't funny. Your shit. Your nonsense gets hexproof.
This card isn't exciting, but it's a solid static creature with a relevant ability.
There's nothing. It's boring.
It's boring. You like boring cards. We just talked about.
Yeah, but if they're 2/1s for a white.
I will probably try this card as a white card. It has this extra line of text as green. Green seems like a very hard color combination to break into. That being said, a lot of the cards do the same thing. Kind of similar to where Is It Still Is, where you can play Fire Ice, Electrolyze, Turn Burn, Is a Charm. You can now play, so in green white you can play Kitchen Finks, Voice Resurgence, Fleecemane Lion, other ones I'm forgetting.
Solid Pride
Mage. So you can play all these little tiny, tooly green white guys, and they're all good. They're all better than Lyra.
They're cheaper and they hit the wrong card, but
oh yeah, right.
Swiss
Chalet.
They're cheaper and they hit just as hard.
Yeah. So again, I've been looking for a white 4-drop to to play. So I will play it as a 4-drop.
I'll let you test it out.
Yeah, I know you were a curmudgeon. You don't really try.
You gotta embrace. You gotta be who you want to be. Because otherwise, if you're not true to yourself, who will be?
Are you gonna try Squeak?
Like I want to, but it's red.
A big Squeak, Mark.
I might try and fit it in.
This has to be the kind of card that all these people who are trying to play these Life and Loam decks are super excited to play. So Squeak the Immortal is 1 red 2/1 goblin legendary. Cast down, getting worse by the minute. You may cast Squeak the Immortal from your graveyard or from exile. You can also cast it from your hand.
I don't think you can. It doesn't say it on the rules text.
I really hope it's in the Gatherer thing. Like, can be cast from hand. It'd be cool. Wizards of the Coast. I really like that it's so close to its original. Okay, we're going to make it a little harder to cast. Give it an extra power. It's 2018, so the card has to be probably a little better. And you can just cast it from anywhere. I was happy that they gave it that clause as well, because I really don't like the old Squeak. It aged out pretty fast. So this one has great new art. Has Squeak's toy, very relevant. Big fan.
It's like an older art style.
It is. I like it a lot. So I don't know. This card doesn't really fit in anything unless you're going super deep into the red black sacrifice nonsense or loam grave. I don't even know. But this card is like unique, where it has a kind of an ability that is on other cards, but this one does it probably in the most elegant.
It's kind of like more what we want. It's more red cards that aren't just good at, I'm going to turn sideways with haste.
Yeah, so a lot of good things about this thing. It doesn't come to play tapped. It can block. It has a relevant power to block. It has a lot of things going for it. So I don't know what this thing fits into, but I'm willing to try it out and find out. It frustrates me that blue-white Discard has got another good card. Because they have so many good cards. So we talked about Teferi, Hero Dominaria last week. I keep on saying week, but it's not. It hasn't been a week. It's been like...
It's a Cubism week, right?
That's
like 2
which is
3
like
weeks.
30 days.
Yeah.
Teferi, Hero Dominaria is 3 white, blue, 4 starting loyalty. +1, draw a card. Being your next end step, untap 2 lands. It doesn't target. Doesn't matter, really. -3. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library, 3rd from the top, and you win the game if you ultimate it. -8, you get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, exile, target permanent and opponent controls, very a la Venser. Whenever you cast a spell, exile something. This card's fine. I'm sure it'll be good. It's in one of the hardest, if not the hardest, to break into color combination cube. I don't think I'll play it. I don't have a good I just don't need it.
Is it better than Venser?
Venser is a very specific role player that if you're kind of want to support that thing, I think it's just better. If you're just playing either for value, I think it's the Fairy, because he fits into more traditional control decks where Venser doesn't. But the Fairy's way more fun.
Like, if you're talking about 5 mana cards, we got Fractured Identity at the same cost.
Yeah, that card is as much as I hate to admit, very, very good. So Teferi is a very good card. Again, it fits more into the traditional blue-white control decks than Venser does, if you're kind of up in the air about either. Venser has a higher payoff if you build around it or support it by any means. But Teferi's good. And
run it if you want to, but not really.
Again, because where there's no fun allowed, or that's not true. Medium levels of fun allowed. You kind of slim out on Planeswalkers when you can afford to, and Territorial Allosaurus, a Dinosaur.
Hey, I like boring cards.
Drew likes boring cards, but he didn't like Chalet, whatever. Territorial Allosaurus, two green, Dinosaur. Did not expect to see any dinosaurs. I don't know why. Were there dinosaurs in Dominaria previously? I guess Imperiosaur was in Future Sight, which was on Dominaria, and is now a dinosaur.
I'm a big fan of Imperiosaur.
That card's sweet. So, 4 mana, 5/5. Kicker, 2 green. When it comes into play, if it was kicked, it fights another target creature. That's it. So it's a 4 mana, 5/5 vanilla. If you draw it later, it also fights something.
I put it on my short list.
This card's real boring. Like, Ripjaw Raptor has been performing exactly like expected. Very, very medium. This card has more of a... I'm not even sure if it has more of a ceiling, to be honest. Shrine cards is so good. If you can draw 3 cards off Ripjaw Raptor...
Who's letting you draw 3 cards?
Nobody. I'm just saying, but that ceiling is better than 7 mana FTK your guy. Right? So, this card has vanilla stats. That's not true. A little bigger than vanilla stats, but it is like a 7 mana fight FTK your guy. Drew likes it. So you know it's boring. Art's fine. This guy's art, he's really fat. I like the favorite thing about him.
I think he's got 2 sets of wings because he's that fat.
He might need the 2 sets of wings. He doesn't have his homie Rorix in the background, or I assume it's implied that Rorix is dead at this point. Oh, that's his homie. What's his name? Karox. Ha! Lore Master. Varix Bladewing. Descendant of Rorix Bladewing. 2/2 red. 4/4. Flying Dragon. Very vanilla. Kicker 3. Very similar to the last card. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it brings Karox Bladewing, a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying, into play with it.
I think I came to a realization. I like boring cards as long as they're small white creatures or medium-sized green creatures, because I don't like this thing.
You know what? I love Broodmate Dragon.
I like Broodmate Dragon.
And this is like a better Broodmate Dragon.
Broodmate Dragon costs 6?
I think it's a better Broodmate Dragon. But it's in mono red, and I can't justify playing it in my shitty wedge slots.
Exactly. You could. You get
I think I like if you play Thunderbreak Region, I think this is a better card.
I don't play it anymore.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Thunderbreak is a 4/4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, in my head, it's a way better Thunderbreak Regent.
Yeah.
Because it brings some homies. Again, very boring. Again, we've been getting a lot of good red mid-range creatures lately. I'm not sure what I'd ever cut for Varix. Maybe if everyone wasn't married to Perforos. I love Perforos. It would be super hard for me to cut, even though I should probably cut it.
You could just do it on the side without telling anybody.
I could, but
I would know here. Leave it in the box, and then if someone's like, "Where's Perforos?" Oh, sorry, I forgot to put it in.
I would know. Lee would probably know.
They just sniff it out.
Varix Bladewing is a very solid creature in a color combination, or not even a color combination. It's more red. In a slot that doesn't really need the help, but this card's really good. I think it's just good to have another option. I wanted this card to be so much flashier than it was.
I think I have a foil Chinese version of the old one.
Oh, that's hot.
Or is that the flagship, Predator flagship? I think that's that.
Yeah, that's Predator flagship.
That's way better.
So, Weatherlight. I kind of wish it was also the Weatherlight. Weatherlight is a 4 mana, 4/5 vehicle. Has flying. What a surprise. Crew 3, and then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 5 cards in your library. You may reveal a historic card among them. So, historic is artifact, legend, or saga. Put that card into your hand, and then put the rest of the bottom of the library in any order. This card, you know what? The reason why this card's on the list is every single vehicle I've ever played in Cube has performed infinitely better than I expected. Heart of Kirin, I love Heart of Kirin. Again, and I hated that card when it came out. You play it like once or twice, like it's a 4/4. It makes all my bad red-white token decks really, really good because I can kill them efficiently with all my shitty ground guys, right? And then obviously Smuggler's Copter, and then even the like medium ones like Aether Geode 3/4 guy.
Yeah.
That thing.
Cultivator's Caravan.
Yeah. Fast Car 1. Fleet Wheel Cruiser. That was fine too. They're all fine. Just this gives me a very Heart of Kirin vibe, where I hated it initially, but I'm putting it on a list because I don't want to be wrong again. I want this card to be good so bad. It's the Weatherlight. It's like a marquee card to so many players. You know.
I think it's got the bad combination of it costs 4 and it takes 3 to crew. Where Heart
of
Kirin
costs
2, 3 to crew, and then we got Fast Car, which animates for free, and then it's 2 to animate it?
Yeah, 2 to crew. And then it is for Harvester, the card I remember now. It's Cruise for 1, right?
Yeah, like, and Cultivator's Caravan. It's kind of a mana rock, and the dude's secondary.
Cruise for 3, right?
3. But it's a 5/5.
Yeah, that card also fine. Like, they're all just fine. So, this one, the stats, it gets bumped up. Oh, wait, there's a Skyship, Cannon, Sky Sovereign Council Flagship. That card. I wanted the Weatherlight to be that card. This card is, in terms of a standard, Weatherlight's probably better, but the Sky Council Flagship is flashier and fun, and I that's what I wanted out of the Weatherlight. Again, this card will probably just be fine in standard. It blocks Glorybringer well. Vehicles are just good. So
doesn't die to cast down.
Doesn't die to cast down. Nothing dies to cast down in our list.
This boring
Territorial Allosaur dies to cast down. It's unplayable. Ferrix Blade Wing brings 2 guys. Neither of them die to cast down. Oh, Weatherlight! I want it to be so good. I hope it's still very good.
You gonna try it? You're gonna try it.
I didn't try Heart of Kirin on release.
You're gonna try it.
I probably will. If it's that's not true. If it's not that expensive, I'll try it. You know, I'm trying to feed my kids here. Or my brother's kids, at least. He has so many kids all of a sudden. That brings us to the only legendary sorcery or legendary spell on the list, because I feel I needed to add one. And I really like everything about this card, in terms of standard and everything else. I don't think any of them have real applications in Cube, but fortunately, just because of the fairly big, tall order of having a legendary creature or planeswalker in order to cast them, because otherwise there's mega duds. But this one is Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. 4 and a black for a legendary sorcery. You may put up to 1 target creature or planeswalker from your graveyard onto the battlefield, and then you may destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, and then exile itself. So this card has it seems like it's brimming with potential. It definitely seems I'm super excited that it's like maybe playing Scarab God standard, where Scarab Gods. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say it's easy to stick it because it keeps coming back, but that card doesn't need much help winning anything. But in like a more atypical blue-black control deck, where these kind of payoff cards don't have to be, you can afford to play them with a lower or higher risk, higher reward, because your deck's just kind of built to get to that later point in the game where you resolve a planeswalker, and then it's going to start taking advantage of the game.
Yeah, I guess when you talk about Cube, we rank cards. Usually the Cube playable cards have a scale out of 10 between like a 2 or a 3 at the bottom. Like maybe a 9 or a 10 for the swinging cards that you want to run. You don't want to run too many of them. But this is a 0 potential. And even when you can cast it, it might not have the best of targets available to it.
Right, so the floor on this card is a 0. It could actually be a nothing to the point where you can't cast it, or you've lost all the things to enable you to cast it. So, and this kind of goes for all of them. Because there are a lot of them are fairly powerful. This one I just happen to like the most. But they have a floor of 0. And even if you have it, you can't really nickel and dime this card where it's going to be in the best point to play it, because you can't really run the risk of not being able to play it.
Yeah, you got to play it because I can get value now, and it may not be the best to cast it, or it may be even correct.
Right, so it might just be a 5-mana Zombify. If you Zombify Planeswalker, it's like fine. It might be a 5-mana Doomblade, 5-mana Terminate, if you will. So again, the ceiling for this card. It's pretty high, but it's very more often going to be from like 0 to 8. It's going to be way, unfortunately, unless you have something very, very skewed for this. you go out of your way to play legendary things. It's going to be way more 0 than it's going to be an 8, unfortunately. So I unfortunately don't think any of the legendary spells are going to be good enough. But that's kind of we always seem to get, or not always seem, but every set seems to have a mechanic that doesn't always fit for Cube. And unfortunately, I think legendary spells are one of them. But either way, that's the first half of Dominaria we have. We didn't talk about every card that's been spoiled so far. We only talked about the ones that were on Gatherers or Wizards' official website. So I know there was like Josu Vest is another card I wanted to talk about. Some other cards that were leaked way before. So this is only the first half. We're going to have a second half. That's what they call it. Second half in the next week or two. So we're going to be talking about the rest of the set then. Also, if there's a card that we didn't talk about this time, feel free to mention it in the comments, and we'll talk about it next time. So, I'd like to thank the Mana Base again, your home base for all things Magic the Gathering. It is the platform that lets us bring you this regular content.
Like, big fan of air quotations. When I write out some of my posts, sometimes go like they can't see that, but
they should know.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited about Dominaria, even though the Weatherlight's kind of whatever. Set's great. Art looks great. Wizards has, you know what? I have to say, Wizards has done a great job with spoiler season, despite this huge leak. Actually, fantastic. I think they've done a very, very good job, and I think it's
could not ask more for them.
Yeah, Wizards get shit on a lot, and it's just kind of good when you acknowledge that they've done a very good job. And it is almost as if the leak never happened. So, very happy, very impressed. So again, I'd like to thank Mana Base. And, yeah, be sure to check them out. Otherwise, I'm Aaron.
I'm Drew.
And, have a good night or evening or wherever the hell you are.